say that I was going to do the MPU board as the next video. However, I am going to start with the back glass, simply because the back glass is sitting on a table. It's in a position where it's vulnerable to breakage. I do not want to have to replace this back glass. I would like to keep the original. So first thing I'm going to do is preserve this back glass. First thing we're going to do is clean it up. Whatever we've got some mild spotting and some dirt on the back here, and I don't want to seal that dirt in. Then I'm going to mask off the score windows and the credit window. I can do this because Joe's Classic Video Games, if you watch his, he gives you permission. He doesn't do this. He actually sprays completely over it. I do notice a little bit of a ripple behind that glass, and I would prefer to have it masked off. So I'm going to put some painter's tape in those windows so that when I spray the triple thick, it will keep it from getting on that portion of the glass, and then I'll use a razor knife to cut it around that and peel those painter's tape sections off again. But again, first we're going to start with a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to go ahead and keep this video running, and we will watch this. I'll probably speed it up. And then once I'm done cleaning, mask it off, and then we'll spray some triple thick. So enjoy, and let me get started. I apologize for the upside down view here. Working in a fairly tightly constrained room, so I don't have a lot of space to set up cameras and lighting. Apologize again if the lighting isn't the greatest. Again, I don't really have room to set up any of the softbox lighting for this. So what we're going to be using, I just picked this up at the local store. It's just a generic glass cleaner. It does say tint safe, no ammonia. I picked the no ammonia specifically because I don't know how that will affect this glass. I also just have some microfiber cloths. I'm not going to be spraying directly on the glass, but rather spraying on the cloth and then wiping the glass, hopefully getting rid of some of this staining on the back. Being very careful, I'm not going to wipe anywhere where there's this, so if there's dirt there, this is going to get sealed in, because if I try and clean that, it's going to peel that paint off. I don't want to do that. But we will start there, and hopefully we can get this glass clean and ready to go for a little preservation. Okay, well that is not having a whole lot of effect on the dirt. It also is not affecting the paint any, so I'm going to try potentially using it directly on the glass here. Again, I want to stay away from these other areas that are lifting. That took a lot of it off. It looks like we have a few stubborn spots though, so I may try a little bit stronger cleaners here and see if we can get this major dirt taken off. I got a spot here, I got some markings back here. My concern is that once the lights start shining through these, those spots are going to show up. Especially, you know, where it's silver, it's not such a big deal because there's no light going to come through those. But anywhere where it's this translucent white on the back, that's where the light's going to shine through, and any dirt or specks on those will show up. Again, so we're going to try and keep this a little bit cleaner, get those areas good. I've got some spotting back here. I'm not sure what that is. Again, there's a limit to how far I can go because our paint is lifting down on this end. So let me go find some stronger cleaner and see if that will do the job. So what we're going to try now is some simple green. See if that will attack these spots a little bit better. Again, my concern is I don't want to go with anything too too strong that might actually attack the paint. Give this a few seconds to soak in and do its magic. Hopefully this will bring it around. If that doesn't work, we can try something a little bit stronger. Oh, that did beautifully. So the Simple Green seems to have done a great job at removing all of the cruddy cred. At this point, we're going to go ahead and clean up and make sure that there's no residue from the Simple Green that might affect putting on the glazing. So at this point, this is just isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel. I know, what a horrible use for isopropyl alcohol today's day and age. Although it seems that most hand sanitizers now are using ethanol. Why? I don't know. I despise the smell of ethanol hand sanitizer. But I digress. Again, we're just making sure that there's no residue from, and picking up any little last dirt that we can. So overall, pretty good. There's some chipping. There's some pieces of paint. There's a flake there that's missing I don't have. So we may attempt to fill that. It really kind of depends on how it looks on the back of the board once the lighting is up and everything is visible. So at this point, again, I'm going to go ahead and make sure these windows are perfectly clear. No smudges, fingerprints, or anything. And then we're going to go ahead and tape these off. Again, these will come off as soon as possible. Probably do a little trimming around them, break the glaze around them with the knife, and then lift them off. Hopefully we'll not lift any trim off from the actual glass. There's a little bit of corners here and there that are showing through, but again, those are right at the edge. They won't be much of an issue. So at this point, we need to do the glazing. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and have to get some newspapers down here. So I'm going to pause the video, get some newspapers laid out, and get ready to spray this. Okay, got some newspaper laid out. We're going to go ahead and use this. This is a Krylon triple thick clear glaze. I saw it on, again, Joe's Classic Video Games as one of the things he used. I can't say this is good or bad. Disclaimer, if you decide to do this with your own back glass and something goes wrong and it goes horribly wrong, don't blame me, don't blame Joe. This is not a how-to or showing you the right way to do things. I'm just an amateur following some internet advice. And we all know the results of following internet advice. So we're going to go ahead and do a real high And all we're trying to do there is get enough to kind of secure this stuff so that when I go with a little bit heavier, I'm going to do a second coat here. That the stuff will stay in place and won't flap around when I get the second heavier. And the other reason for doing this is that if you do decide to do touch-up paint, this basically puts a protective layer between the real paint and your touch-ups, so that if you ever want to take your touch-up off without damaging the back glass, it is possible. Again, my goal here is to get nice, heavy coat on here. And then we're going to go ahead and trying to see real careful. You see those paint flakes trying to flap around when the spray gets over them. So, got 3 heavy coats, and we're going to do one more. What the heck? So now what I'm going to do is jump in here, grab my knife wherever I buried it under piles of stuff. So then the next step, per Brother Joe, actually it's not Joe that does the videos, it's Ron, but it's Joe's video game shop from what I understand. But either way, what we're going to do is take a little bit of cling wrap, plastic wrap, whatever you want to call it. And this is going to create a barrier between our weight and our thing, and our glaze that will hopefully not, well, shouldn't stick to the glazing. If I can get it on here without making a total fool of myself. So this cling wrap shouldn't stick to the glazing once it sets up. And what we're doing is just creating a barrier, because we're going to put that piece of mirror you saw in the last video is here to be a weight to push down these torn paint pieces. And that is not what I wanted. And this is why you shouldn't do what I'm doing. Because I'm an idiot and I am not qualified to be doing this. So we're going to go ahead and leave that on there. We're going to let this set for 24 hours and see where it goes from there. Actually, probably 12 hours. Check it in the morning, see if it's set up. And then we'll go from there. Okay, well, it's been 12 hours since I put all this on here. I'm going to go ahead and take off our canning. Let's see how badly I messed this up. So I'll take our mirror off. And I'm going to take a corner off here where there's no damage and the glazing has dried. You see the cling wrap is just peeling off. Easy peasy. Well, we're still tacky on this end, so I guess we need to give her another 12 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. Looks like we got pretty solid adhesion, not perfect though. Nothing down here. That's concerning. That means that, yeah. So, well, we will have to make another attempt. It doesn't look too bad though. It looks like we are going to be able to salvage it as it is. It just needs a little bit more. Again, this is a total lack of experience on my part on what it takes to actually make this happen. So we will let this cure a little bit longer so we can be able to peel the cling wrap cleanly, and then we will make another attempt. Okay, we are back. Give it another 24 hours to cure. I'm going to peel this back, and it is completely dry. So we're going to go ahead and just carefully peel this off. Okay, so this is going to be basically just a repeat of our previous actions. We're going to go ahead and tape and recover. If I will simply fast forward through all this, and we will go from there. And with that, it is prepped for another 24 hours of sitting and curing. Okay, it's been a few days since I actually did this last. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off now. As you noticed when I put it on, I realized I had almost gotten them all on, and then realized that I had left the blue tape on the windows. Couldn't peel the plastic off at that point because once it sticks to that glazing, this plastic will not peel off until the glazing is dry. So definitely put me in a bind there. We'll have to peel those off now. Maybe do a little bit of knife cutting. There are still a couple of spots where it's still showing a little bit of flex in the original paint, so I'm going to recover those, but I'm just going to hit those couple of spots, and I'm not going to use the plastic. I'm just going to paint them and remove them. So now I'm going to go ahead and try and get this blue painter's tape off of these. Alright, again, like I said, we've got these couple of spots that just still show a little bit of flex, a little bit more than I like, so we're going to go ahead and give them a little extra. When I say a little extra, I mean I'm going to go ahead and plug those areas. And we again let it cure. Alright, as you can see, the back glass is completed. You can see some of the cracking through the glass. None of it's really problematic, so I'm not going to do any touch up behind it because it would just end up being blotchy anyway. There's some still spots here. If you get really close, you can see where there's spots of the paint that's still a little bit lifted away from the glass, but it's actually encapsulated in the triple thick, so it's good to go. You'll also notice that the MPU is actually completed and running. I've got videos on that. I will be putting those together and uploading them as soon as I can. And then we will go from there. But thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share the video, and I will see you on the next one.